Greetings and welcome, everybody. Jai Baba. This is Heather Masciandaro, Administrative Coordinator for Meher Archive Collective, and I'll be hosting today. Welcome to our fifth installment of Mac on Baba Zoom. So happy to have you all here. Today, I am going to be presenting the Shaw Family Collection. There's no way to present the entire Shaw collection, just a few little pieces from the Shaw collection, and also Baba buttons that Baba actually touched from the Ken Kaufman Collection, and also a video of Ron Kantor and his daughter Julianna singing Ocean of Love to the Shaw collection photographs of the East-West gathering. I would like to present my co-host today, Claire Barrett. Claire Barrett is the archivist for Meher Archive Collective, and her title is Archive Manager. Okay, without further ado, let me pull up my slideshow and share my screen. So I just want to point everybody to a wonderful video that Debbie made on the Shaw Family Collection. And this was for the annual general meeting. Last year, we put this together. And it is a beautiful overview of our holdings for the Shaw Family Collection. It features Sherry Keller, who is the granddaughter of Darwin and Jeannie Shaw. We wanted to start with a little excerpt from As Only God Can Love. Claire, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to be reading an excerpt, like she said, from As Only God Can Love, a really wonderful read if you haven't gotten to it yet. Perhaps the wildest dream a person could have is that God would manifest in some unmistakable way, revealing the answer to the mystery of life and of himself. For the lover of God, this would be the earthly experience of the divine beloved clothed in human flesh, living and dwelling with his lovers, searching them out to share with them the incomparable wonder, beauty, and divine love of his infinite being. This may seem like an impossible dream, yet it actually happened during the 20th century. I know that it happened because through God's grace, I was one of those who intermittently associated with Meher Baba, who was to me the second coming of Christ over a period of some 35 years between 1934 and 1969. I feel that I was born to witness this great event and to play a part in Meher Baba's divine cause. Very beautiful words. This is just the tiniest bit of the treasures that are in the Shaw collection that we're going to be going over today. There's an infinite amount more that's going to be available in the archive and on our database when we get that put together. So on the screen here, you will see some of what I found so far that I think is most incredible. You'll see two of Monty's postcards to the Shaw family, one of which is the floral illustration, which is just beautiful, and the other is the very cute heart-shaped, in which she gives her fondest love to Jeannie and dear Darwin. She really was such a sweetheart, so the heart is very, very fitting for her. And next to the heart-shaped postcard, we have one of the two East-West gathering badges that Darwin and Jeannie wore in 1962. And we have a bit of Baba's hair and pressed flowers, which is such a treasure. We absolutely love these. So, Heather, next slide, please. Now, these are also really cool, very unique treasures. You will see orange seeds from an orange that Baba gave Darwin during the 3 incredible weeks. We're so incredibly glad that he didn't throw anything away because this is a one-of-a-kind item. You'll also see bark and leaves from Meher's tree. So very cool. Again, absolutely precious and one-of-a-kind finds. So next slide, please, Heather. And we now even have a garland that Baba wore himself, and it is beautiful and in incredible condition. Next, Heather.
Okay. I'd like to bring up this letter from Baba to Darwin. It's a beautiful letter written in 1935. And obviously Darwin and some Baba lovers are thinking of building a retreat, a place for people to come to talk about Baba. And Darwin was always focused in on the inner life. Again and again, you heard it in his talks, you hear it in his book. And in that letter, Baba states, I am glad to know about the loving ones of the group that you have formed and who wish to start a retreat if plans succeed. Whether that retreat on earth is established or not, I do really appreciate the spirit of brotherhood and love that has been awakened and consider it as a spiritual retreat already established within, which is much more substantial and real than any earthly home or structure built for the purpose. The true spirit is there, already awakened, and it is fostered and kept up with warm feelings of love and brotherhood. It will eventually bear results that will be helpful in the development of spiritual understanding of life and things pertaining to life. And wherever such spirit of love and brotherhood prevails, inner light and guidance will always follow invariably. And rest assured, I will always be with you and the other dear ones working in unison in the spirit of love, and my spiritual help will always be forthcoming wherever I am, wherever you all are. So if a retreat is managed and established, all right. But if it is found difficult to arrange for one, do not despair, but keep up the spirit and carry on the useful work, even without a retreat, and I will always help you. I give you and your work all my blessings. Later on, Darwin writes, and there's an excerpt in Our Constant Companion by Balna too, about the inner relationship with Baba and about being at Myrtle Beach, being at the compound, Baba's house, and looking towards the sea and thinking about Baba and relating to Baba in his heart. Later on, when Baba came to the center, he acknowledged those thoughts that Darwin was having of him. He quickly walked over to the steps at the porch entrance to the house, walked up the steps, turning around as he reached the little platform at the top. He snapped his fingers to catch my attention, and as I looked at him, he raised his right arm, bending it at the elbow with his index finger extended. Then he slowly lowered his arm. He looked at me with an expression which seems to ask, "Do you get it?" I caught his thought immediately and exclaimed, "Why, Baba, you are reminding me of how I used to come here and think of you." He nodded affirmatively and, motioning us to follow him, led us into his house. Now, this is a theme of Darwin's, this inner life with Baba. And to continue, thus Baba confirmed that our inner relationship with him is a valid one and not just our imagination.
Some other really wonderful items that are in this collection are orders from Baba to Darwin in July of 1940. And it's just a list of things that he is meant to do or not do for the following year, starting from the date which he receives it. The list includes things like not eating meat, not going to the cinema. My personal favorite is an order to not attend the circus, which I think is very interesting. Baba's orders can seem so random and mysterious, you don't quite understand the purpose, but they're not really intended to be understood. They're meant to be followed because there is a grand purpose for all of these. We just can't understand it, which I think is very fascinating. Can you go to the next slide, please? And these are some notes that went along with the orders when they were received. And these actually are kind of my favorite part of the whole thing, because it includes a little note saying, avoid order number 20 if absolutely impractical. And order 20 is regarding fasting. And it's such a simple little tidbit, but it's so full of tenderness and it really warms your heart. It shows how individual all these orders are. They weren't mass produced and sent out blindly. They were based on what each individual person needed at that time.
So regarding orders, this is a little excerpt I found from Glimpses of the Gone Men. And this talks about Baba's orders. An important period for Baba people all over the world commenced on June 21. On May 4th, 1948, circular had been issued to all the East and the West. It contained information that Mayor Baba would be engaged in a special type of spiritual work. All disciples, devotees, and followers, both men and women, were to carry out one of the following 5 orders for a period of 1 month. And here are the orders in this instance. When Claire and I were preparing this event, we were really kind of captured by the orders and like, what does it mean? We're, trying to think about Baba's orders, and was he doing his avataric work through his disciples? Was he doing the work for the individuals and their spiritual benefit? And I think it's all of the above. And actually, we just can't figure them out. So I thought this passage was pretty to the point. In one of his letters, Frankenberg requested that Baba clarify the spiritual significance of the circular. The reply sent to him through Dr. Ghani stated, to try to understand a perfect master from a limited, egoistic human standpoint is a sheer impossibility. By one action of his, the master perhaps serves many purposes on different planes. The only thing worth doing is to carry out the master's behests most sincerely. And these are some of the treasures from this collection. These are Shaw audios, which Phil Ludwig has been helping us to digitize. These are very fragile, so it has to be done very carefully. So we've got an audio from the East-West gathering where the Westerners sing, "He's got the whole world on his hands." It's very faint, and perhaps we can endeavor to get a clearer audio. And then we hear Erich presenting and everything. We have to strain to hear it, but it is, it's there, and someday it will be worked upon and it will be available to all. And these are on the middle photograph. These are Narina Machabelli's correspondence. And Ken and Barbara Rickstedt did a great spreadsheet there, as you can see, very meticulous about what's in that package. And these are the letters on the right, are the letters from the Marianne Florsheim chairman. And so you see, we have so much to do, so much archiving, inventory, and digitizing, and all to get up on our database in the future and available at the archive. This is just a smattering of correspondence about the center and the center work. And here I'm going to introduce to you Debbie. Debbie, are you able to talk today, or do you want me to read for you?
Hi, everybody. I'll do a little talking and then you can read. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great. Yeah,
Okay.
Debbie has been scanning the correspondence about the founding of the center and all the work done upon the center. Okay, Debbie, take it away.
Okay. Well, just you have to excuse my voice. I'm still recuperating from surgery. But the great news is that Baba has given me the energy to do some Baba projects here at home. And I'm so excited that the Meher Archive Collective brought over a scanner so I can scan these letters from Elizabeth to Darwin. And the letters were written in 1947, 48, and 49. And where was she? Mostly in Merazad. So she could go straight to Baba and ask about the dollar amounts being spent, ask about the size of trees being cut. And that's what I've been enjoying so much, is scanning these documents, because you get a flavor of Elizabeth's incredible attention to detail. Just like Baba, And I want to piggyback on what Heather just said, is that some days these will all be up, shareable around the world to archives around the world. And the Mayher Center is going to be so very much interested in every tree, every ditch, every roadway, every topographical note. Well, some people are going to be interested in that. And that's what we're finding in these files. They're just amazing. Yeah, this is the first one that I'd like you to share. And she's been writing to Darwin about this one's more about how they're going to relate to each other. And believe me, when she says that telegrams and letters are flying internationally, she's true, because I'm scanning something from one day to the next. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let's just have you read from it starts with my negative quality and your positive quality are both used by Baba as ground contacts. And then you could start with, in any case, you could start reading right there.
In any case, the unusualness of corresponding about the details of a drainage project between America and India that Baba has directed us to dig together is apparent. It might even cross your mind why he wants it that way, requiring letters and cables to fly back and forth between West and East. From the ordinary point of view, it would be easier to let the one on the spot do it all. That is, if it were only a drainage project. Nothing we do for Baba is just that which it seems. I just want to give you this little insight, not to mention to the neighbors, but for you to know that we both must, during the time that we cannot speak of anything personal, to try not to feel personal about anything in our correspondence or take it personally. You looking at a thing from the West and I from the East are bound not to see the work to be done, but from opposite directions, but to cooperate and coordinate with opposite viewpoints, but for the same goal, is what is needed today in the world, individually applied. This is Elizabeth signing off for 1949. Now let us get on with the job.
Wonderful. And this was at the beginning of 1949. And Elizabeth stayed there until August. And the letters and cables continued to fly back and forth. And she and Norina came back in 1949. And then, of course, Baba went on the new life in October of 1949. So let's just take a quick look at the next one. And I don't think I have a lot of time here, so I'll just tell you a little bit about it. And you won't have to read the whole thing. But I told Peter that this is the kind of thing that he would love to be reading, because it's about trees and pathways and how she really was a micromanager, and that's good, because Baba sees to every detail. And the expression, the devil is in the detail, is wrong, because the expression should be God is in the details. But anyway, we'll just have this up on the screen, and then later when it's on YouTube, people can pause it and read it word for word. But I just thought it was so dear the way she starts. I'll let you talk from where it says the use of mules are the best way for the property. That's the third paragraph down. And she's talking about being very careful about not taking too much out of the beautiful forest property. And then you'll see at the very end, she talks about them not making a mess, meaning the loggers, and also not getting ripped off by being charged for only pulpwood when really those loggers were taking good timber, because Darwin's father told her, that's Sherry's Sherry's great grandfather, told Elizabeth that those loggers had really taken her, taken advantage of her by not giving her the proper amount of money for the good trees that they got previously when they did the job. So let's just have you start with the mule sentence and then read the rest of the paragraph on the second column.
Okay. The use of mules are the best way for the property owner, as only small lanes need to be cut to drag out the logs. And as they are pulled along on a sled. They do not injure the remaining trees that stand. As absolutely essential to preserve our forest, find out the best and safest way, even if we get less money for the timber. Most important is to find a way to check the timber before it leaves our property, because your father thought that I lost about 1/3 between our property and the checkup point at the other end. That is why I mention now that I have learned the hard way, at least in part. So forgive if you already are on to these tricks of that trade. Mr. Shaw, in any case, got surprises. It is best to sell the timber as soon as possible, taking these points in mind and adding to them anything more you know or can find out from others locally. Yes, there is one more thing comes back to my memory. The timber dealer takes the part of the tree he wants and leaves an awful mess of limbs, crooked trees, etc. This wreckage cost me a goodly price to have clear up afterwards. Some arrangement has to be made in advance about the disposal. Otherwise, we are left with the greatest hazard to catch fire, such debris as well as cost of cleaning up. Thanks for your patient care, Elizabeth.
And that's it for me. I just had to share with you. You could see how she just thought of every detail, and we have hundreds of these letters. So this is a real archive in itself, just the Elizabeth Patterson files from 47 to 49. Jay Baba.
Hey, Baba. Thank you, Debbie. Now, some of our most precious items have been talked about at length in this lovely video. If you have not looked at this video, All My Love to You and Yours, put together by Debbie Nordine. It's a beautiful video of the letters that came to Darwin from Portofino and Florence, Italy. So please check that video out, and it features Elaine opening these letters. And here is the one from Villa Alta Chiara. Claire, did you want to say anything about these letters?
Yes, I have spent the last week with this particular letter from Quentin, and it is just such a lovely read. It really is so sweet, and the way he talks about Baba, about the time in Italy with him. My favorite little tidbit from it is him talking about Anita and how the trip to Italy and spending all this time in Baba's presence has raised her spirits and blossomed her after a couple of years of hardship. So there's so much love in this, just a couple pages of letter. It's beautiful.
And this is the little note front and back that was in the envelope with a Quentin Todd photo as well. And I'll just read it here. It's such a beautiful and sweet letter. And as we know, in Portofino, it was a real honeymoon for the Westerners that joined him. It was a really romantic time in everybody's life. Darwin, dear, our beloved Baba was so pleased with your letter. I have spent a month here with him. Words cannot describe what it has been like, and I'm wondering if it's all a dream. After the 28th, I go to London. Baba leaves the 24th for India, returns to England on the 12th. My address is blah, blah, blah. We will be waiting there for Baba. It's a wonderful, large family. Baba's friends, more than friends, I must say, do write to me. What has happened to Milo and your lovely wife and child? Do embrace them for me. Love, Anita. And it kind of gives a flavor of that time in Portofino with Baba. Here's a telegram from Norina, and it's sent to Jean Shaw in the hospital. Debbie, do you have an idea? Is this when Jeannie was giving birth? Jean was giving birth, or was she sick? Do we know?
I don't know, but I see Sherry Keller's here.
Oh, she is? Hi,
Sherry.
Sherry.
Maybe Sherry knows. Oh, she said J Baba. She wrote J Baba. So I can't remember what this was. If it was,
Well,
I don't know.
we'll find out. We'll
Yeah.
research and find out.
Oh, Sherry
And,
wrote, I think she had surgery during that time.
oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, Sherry. And this is a letter from Gohair, and I recognize this writing. I have a couple letters from Gohair too, and it just reminds me of how giving Gohair was and how loving, and never forgot a person, never forgot the love that people have in their heart for Baba. Dearest Jean, it's so sweet of you to think of us individually and send us practical and useful gifts. We are deeply touched by your sweet thought and love. Pray this finds you and dear Darwin in good health and ready to move to Myrtle Beach. We love seeing the pictures brought by Margaret and Vesta. It's rather hot here. No rains get in sufficient quantity. Much love and a warm embrace from Gohair. Here is a letter from Mara to Jean. I want to read just a couple passages here. This is from July 28, 1985. And I'll just read a couple things of note here. We visited Marabad yesterday. It was Leatrice and Sherry-Lee's last day. Both were prettily dressed in saris. Sherry-Lee looking very sweet in a lovely green sari with a gold border. At Marabad, there were so many loving hearts gathered there, and many sang lovely songs filled with love for Baba. Jamie is singing better. That must be Jamie Newell. Jamie is singing better than ever, and his compositions are so beautiful. And it is heartwarming to see Peggy too, so full of love for Baba. I wonder who that Peggy is. Is that Peggy Stephens?
No, that's Peggy. That's Jamie's wife, Zoe. And she was very close to Jean.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Debbie. And there's another passage about Silence Day that's very touching. As always, Silence Day for us was very special. It helped us to remember beloved Baba more and the unending years of his silence. Wow. That he had undertaken for the sake of the world. It gives you an idea of just how long that silence was and how the Mandali, they used to hear his voice, but then for years, for 40 years, he kept silence. So this is a reply. This must be a reply from 1951 to Jean's letter to Baba. And it says, Baba's reply, my dearest and most loving Jean, the yearning and heart's love poured out in your letter touched me deeply. About all your difficulties, try to be brave, and whatever happens, think it to be wholly and solely God's will, and be resigned. About your son, let things take their own course. And about your health, see a doctor if your complaints get any worse than they are now. My love to you and to dear Darwin, Baba. Now, this is written in Hyderabad and handwritten by one of the Mandali, most likely. It's not Baba's writing, but it just, to me, when I read this, it's like this could apply to me today. About all of the everyday difficulties, try to be brave and be resigned to God's will, whatever happens in your life. And I just, this really touched me here. It could apply to any of us today. And here, I just want to show you, give you a visual of the stacks of all the letters of the Shaw family collection that need to be read, sorted, archived, and digitized for our database. And this here is the sweetest to-do list. I'll read it for you. Storm windows and door, clean up and put up. Think of Baba. Rear cellar wall, jack out. Think of Baba. Garage roof, patch, hold on to Baba's daman. Order load of gravel, Baba, Baba, Baba. Check roof and apply cement where needed. This is all Maya anyway. Finish installing new storm, door and woodwork underneath, non-objective awareness and Baba. Measure bedroom, window for new glass, Baba, Baba, Baba. Closed left air vent on car, Baba, Baba, Baba. It's humorous, it's funny, it says just how important it is for Darwin, for himself, to remember Baba at all times. But it's also natural too. Okay, and to change into the Ken Kaufman collection, we have yet to go through this collection, but most notable are these Baba buttons and pendants touched by Baba. And so we had a great time at Debbie's taking photographs of these pins. Ken Kaufman left the collection to Mac through Debbie and Peter Nordine. And next on the agenda for today are a few excerpts from Bill and Peggy Stephens' pilgrimage diaries. Now, these just touch my heart. I'm just going to read a few passages, and you all probably can recognize yourself as a pilgrim in India through Peggy's diary and as a guest at the Meher Spiritual Center, hearing about Baba and delighting about Baba in Bill Stephens' diary. Reconstructing events. This is the first page in 1987. And I love this because I was there in 1988, 89, and this sounds like my pilgrimage. Wednesday afternoon, unpacked and rested. Dinner, rice, dal, salad, vegetables, chapatis, back to bed early. Thursday a.m. morning, Arti was beautiful. I was very teary as Ted Judson sang, "How Great Thou Art." At the time, I was bowing to Baba in the tomb. At 10, we boarded the bus for Merazad, stopped at the trust office and bought a photo and of Baba and a hat. Erich greeted us warmly, talked at length about devotion to parents, obeying parents. A lot of us had trouble with some of his statements. Later, Bill reminded me he is of Indian culture. Strong family is a matter of survival in India. We also discussed what it means to give it to Baba. We've all heard that phrase, haven't we? Erich says, you must ask Baba to help you with decision, then give the decision to Baba and go on. Was tired after the bus trips and didn't go to evening arti. Dinner. Now this is really cute. Dinner, macaroni with tomato sauce on the side. Okay, we've all eaten that dinner. So delicious. I had 3 helpings. Slept well under mosquito netting, getting used to hard bed. Asterisks from before. Saw Mara and had tea with her. And it goes on, but I'll just read one more page. Friday to Ahmednagar on the bus, 10 a.m. for shopping. So we've all been there. Christine took us to Sarda's, and we had so much fun for an hour and a half buying scarf material. Stayed too long to get them hemmed. Also missed the bus at 12:30 and had to get a rickshaw back to Mehrabad. What a ride. After lunch, we got ready to go visit Jal and Dolly. Their place is so beautiful, with a spectacular view of the hill. Dolly served us tea and cookies. Brian came in and joined us. Then she showed us through the house. Then Jal showed us through his garden, his large garden of fruit trees and coconuts, jambul, good for diabetes, and flowers. It was quite dark when we finished, so that we drove up to the hill for Arti and then drove us home after. So home must be the MPC. We met his mother, who is a strict Zoroastrian. She goes to Arti also, but Dolly says out of respect only. Evening Arti, Bob and Jane usually sing, but every other song is by an Indian couple who sit on a rug in front of the door, He plays an instrument like a harmonium. She sings and plays cymbals. Nazu plays drums, very long pieces, so there's less Western music than Eastern. Mornings, Ted Judson plays and sings wonderful songs. Others sometimes sing with him, Greg and Gay. So this must be our Greg and Gay Dunn. Sometimes sing at morning and evening. I sleep very well at night. And it goes on, and there's some shopping trips here, and you just sort of, it's all written down nicely, what I too experienced. I went to Jal and Dolly's and had tea with them and cookies, and we even watched the movie Tukaram at their place, like many other pilgrims. And here is Bill Stephens' diary. And this is this first page here. It's at the lantern. That must be the lantern cabin. And it's on Christmas Eve on 71 or 76. I'll have to ask Roger to decipher that writing. So it says tape of Naja. So this must be the Baba's cook, Naja. Lived in the same lane as Merwan, 2 hours away. Their mothers were sisters. Baba was a natural leader, played cards, Indian chess, tells stories. Merwan wouldn't eat, would put food in a wooden box and keep in the attic, and then go to Bun Gardens and feed the fishes. Toddy shop. Merwan treated all castes equally, would serve them toddy and then sing bhajans with them. Baba never differentiated between the drunkard and the saint, would talk softly with friends, and they would gradually give up drink. Baba would walk, sing beautiful songs early in the morning at 4 a.m. Early in the morning, Baba rushed into the kitchen to say, "Is the dal ready? I'm hungry." To serve dal and bread, a little pickle, chutney. Aishap told Merwan, "You are not Merwan anymore. You are Meher Baba." As a boy, Baba liked Charlie Chaplin films. He would get a group of young people together and put on plays. It goes on, and it talks about Shireen Mai and Mani, and how Mani went to a Catholic school, the Convent of Jesus and Mary, and how Mara also attended the same school. I just thought these were delightful, that these little diaries, they're pretty small. They're not very big, but they're chock full of wonderful stories. I wanted to ask everybody if they're interested and they feel inclined to please watch Meher Archive Collective's annual general meeting. This took place on November the 13th of this year, and it's going to fill you in on everything we do. And we also had Ward Parks be our keynote presenter. So please tune in and you can hear all about MAC. You'll get a good idea of what MAC is. There's a lot of pictures of the building that Hugh presents, so you can see the progress. And MAC is 100% donor funded. We need your help. Donate to Meher Archive Collective by going to meherarchive.org. While you're there, please be sure to sign up for our newsletter. Our last feature, and that is Ron Kantor and Julianna McKenzie Kantor singing for us The Ocean of Love. They recorded this in Phil Ludwig's studio in 2014. Julianna M. Kantor is just finishing her BFA in drama and musical theater at Hofstra University. She's performed all over the world and was the lead for Breaking the Moon, an original musical performed off-Broadway as part of the New York Drama Workshops Summer Festival in 2018. She has attended several youth sahavises and has performed with her father numerous times at Meher Baba Spiritual Center in Myrtle Beach. And Dr. Ronald J. Kantor is one of our board directors. He's a senior workforce performance consultant and solution architect whose recent work has focused on innovative learning and evaluation designs and solutions. His resume is extensive and very illustrious. He's a longtime Baba lover who's made the pilgrimage to Mehrabad 10 times over the past 35 years. And now I want to show you a video compilation of the Shah family collection photos of the East-West gathering at Guru Prasad and with the Ocean of Love performed by Ron Kantor and Julianna McKenzie Kantor.
Stars up above, I am the treasure of infinite worth, I am the ocean of love. I am the ocean of limitless joy, infinite consciousness too. I am the music that never will cloy, I am the ocean in you. I am the ocean in you. For I am the one who made heaven and earth, planets and stars up above. I am the treasure of infinite worth, I am the ocean of love. I am the ocean of unending peace, infinite hearing and sight. You from your chains I have come to release into my ocean of light, into my ocean of light. I am the one who made heaven and earth, planets and stars up above. I am the treasure of infinite worth, I am the ocean of love.
I am the ocean of unbroken calm, infinite bliss I am too. I've been called Jesus and Buddha and Ram, and now Meher Baba by you. And now Meher Baba by you.
For I am the one who made heaven and earth, planets and stars up above. I am the treasure of infinite worth, I am the ocean of love. and stars up above. I am the treasure of infinite worth. I am the ocean of love. I am the ocean of love.
So that's our presentation today. And I'm just going to open things up for any questions or insights.
Thank you so much. I just love seeing, seeing these items, hearing them out loud too. I just love hearing the correspondence out loud, and you read them so well. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Debbie. You have been such a wonderful help throughout all of this. We absolutely adore Debbie. She's fantastic.
Thank you, Baba.
But yeah,
So-
this really is just the tip of the iceberg for the Shaw collection. It is so full of incredible treasures. I am so excited to start sorting through more of it.
Well, it's very exciting to think about everything that Mag is doing. And it's almost like daily, like last week, as Claire and Heather know, out of the blue, I heard from two people that know that, Peter and I have an association with Meher Archive Collective. And, one person wants to donate a shirt of Muhammad's, and somebody else has amazing correspondence from the Mandali. And Peter and I have to get our own collection ready. And it's so sweet because he has Padre's shoes and I have Mani's shoes. So I just am so happy to know that the shoes can do that walking all the way to Meher Archive Collective and be shared for posterity. I just think it's so great what's happening here and at all the archives around the world, to know that this is the time that we need to be doing this work. And so I say kudos to you staff people and, of course, to all the volunteers. So thank you, Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baba. And thanks
We-
for everybody who participated to the chat. Yes,
We have
Claire?
one person that has their hand up.
Oh, yes. 2007 Rock BL, please, yes.
Hi, this is Ann Barker, and I just wanted to say I found it fascinating, just a brief glimpse into the correspondence between Elizabeth Patterson and Darwin Shaw. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that. That's gives us such an insight into those years in 1940s that we really don't know much about.
Mhm.
And thanks to everyone who put this together. Thanks for all your hard work. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Anne.
Thanks, Anne. So I just want to say that we are doing a lot of intake right now and taking in collections, and it's really important to think about where your collections go. You may think of your family members, but do they know how important these treasures are? Well, Mac does, and we will archive the collection. We will digitize the collection. We're going to have an online database that is available to everyone in the entire world. And we will take photos and scans. You will be able to see these items. You will be able to see the items at the building. We have 2 vaults at the building that will be climate controlled, and our most precious treasures will be there. Now, we're a nonprofit, and we are operating on resources that are given to us. So please also think about volunteering your time to MAC. You may want to be a security guard at the building. You may want to be scanning these incredible documents at the archive once we open our doors. Claire, do you want to say anything further about archiving? Claire is our expert archivist. Claire has a degree in archiving. So she's the person to really speak about how these treasures and documents need to be handled.
Well, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, there's a wealth of information about how to be storing all of these things correctly. And the last Baba Zoom that I did in was that August, I believe. I talked a lot about archiving at home with documents and letters and that sort of thing. And I'm going to be doing more in the future, talking about other type of objects. But if you ever have any questions that you want to answer about archiving at home, getting things ready to be donated, hopefully maybe to us, which we would absolutely adore, please email me. My email is claire.barrett@mayerarchive.org, and I'm always available to answer any sort of questions. I promise there's no silly question. So
I just got a question on the chat, and a person is asking, I have a number of letters from Bauji and either 1 or 2 from Mara. I need to read to see if it's appropriate. And that must mean you need to read and see if it's appropriate to give to MAC, and it doesn't give away too much personal information.
yeah.
Absolutely. These letters, if you intend them to be private, you can still donate to MAC, but you have to specify certain passages remain private. But these are exactly the type of things that we are going to archive and share with the world. But we do take donor-specific requests in mind, and if they just need to be spelled out on the donor archive agreement.
Mhm.
So Claire, do you want to talk about the donor archive agreement?
Yes, I'm in the process of editing it to make sure that it's fully up to date and as clear as possible. And I can send that out to anyone also if you want to take a look at it. But it just gives kind of the basics of how things are going to be handled in the archive. It gives you guys a chance to tell us everything about the history, where you got it from, any kind of stories collected with it, and then also kind of special requests that you might have. Obviously, we can't do every single request, even though I would absolutely love to, but we are always willing to be flexible and work with people. So if there's a letter that you think might have some personal information in it, or you're a little unsure about it being available to everyone, we can put some limitations on when and how things are accessed and used. We could keep something private for a number of years in the future until a point in which that personal information being out might not be quite as big of a deal. So we are always happy to be flexible within reason with people, because we want to make sure that when you're giving something to us, you feel completely confident and comfortable. I have no interest in taking someone's treasures away and making them feel like they don't have a say in anything anymore. We want to have a relationship with you guys because our donors are just as important as the treasures that we collect. We love all of you guys. So thank you.
So sweet, Claire.
All right.
Debbie.
I just see that Sherry Keller is still here, and she's just texting with us. And Sherry, and she said she sent it to me, but she meant to send it to everybody. Thank you for putting the webinar together. It's beautiful. And I just want to say thank you to Darwin and Jean Shaw and Leatrice and Sherry for being wonderful collectors and not throwing anything away. So, I mean, that was amazing. And that Sherry had the insight and foresight to keep all that collection when she inherited it from her grandparents and from her mother. And then, of course, to pass it on to us for our sharing for posterity. So thank you to all the donors, Jai Baba.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just wanted to, I wanted to piggyback on Claire's point, and that is, I want to talk about storytelling. Now, the
Oh,
treasures
yes.
are so much, they're just breathed into life with the stories. So
Mhm.
we can have the object, like, and if we have some history with the object, if there's history, how you got your sadra, how you got your letters, if there's history behind it, that's so important.
Mhm.
And I want to talk about this proposal of these letters by our participant today. And that is, your story is everyone's story. If you have some personal information in there, that people can relate to it,
Mhm.
right? If you and I just want to say that I found this out when I was in India in 2019. Carla approached me, and Carla's a resident there, and she asked me she had heard, oh, Heather met Mara, and she had heard that I met Mara. So she came, we had lunch together, and she wanted to know everything about anything I could remember about Mara and about my time together. And I told a very personal story about Mara, and I was alone with Mara on the porch, and something incredible happened. I'll probably be processing it for the rest of my life. But I told Carla that story, and I realized when I was telling the story, and it was just a little story, but the people that live with Baba all their lives, you know, were asked to tell their stories for the rest of their life after Baba passed for 30 years or so, telling stories about that time. And it almost like I really felt like, oh, wow, this story is not just mine. This is a story for mankind. This is a story about God. This is everyone can relate to this story. And it's such a private moment that was it was when I shared it, it became richer because it was being shared with others. So I just want to tell you that Claire's actually starting a program, and we're going to announce it on the newsletter. You can make an appointment with Claire to tell your Baba story, to tell your stories of the Mandali, to tell your pilgrimage stories. Make an appointment with her, and we'll get it down.
Yeah.
This is kind of starting because of Susan Paul and her incredible stories of coming to Baba, her incredible story of just happening on Margaret Kraft's tombstone, and she loved Margaret Krask and knew of Margaret Krask, and just the incredible serendipity of Baba's personal touch on everybody's life. This is exactly what we're looking for, and we're wanting to record for posterity. These stories will go down in history and time and be there for everybody. And we may not think our personal story is that important, but it is. It's super important.
Yeah, I am so excited. Working with Susan recently has been such a treat. And I am so excited to be starting this project finally. So like Heather said, if you have any kind of stories that you want to share, that you want to add to our collection, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. We have a microphone set up. It's very professional, so it's going to be really, really fun. And like I said, Susan and I had an absolute blast. So yeah, even if you don't want to right now donate your physical treasures, you have plenty of stories and memories that are just as valuable, if not sometimes more valuable, because like Heather said, that's what really makes it come to life. So please consider joining our little interview project. It's very exciting.
Okay, all right. Well, everybody, I just want to give out Claire's information one more time.
Yeah,
And
let me put that in the
um,
chat real quick.
Okay, but Claire, say it for the recording. Say it one more time.
It's Claire, CLAIRE .Barrett, BARRETT at meherarchive.org.
And you can go to the website, meherarchive.org, and you can also contact us directly on that website. There,
Mhm.
there'll be the main email there below, info@meherarchive.org. Okay, everybody. Well, today was we're really happy to share these treasures and sort of start to delve into the Shaw collection. Right now, we are scanning and digitizing the Fred Ella Winterfeld collection. Claire is heading that project, and we hope to do it by the beginning of the year, by the end of the first month of the year. And then we're going to start on tackling the Bill and Peggy Stephens collection and the Roger Stephens collection and the Shaw collection. There's so much to do. If you want to volunteer and help us in that endeavor, please reach out to us. Okay, well,
Thank you.
Baba, everybody, so happy that you were able to attend and be here with us and thinking about Baba. And okay, all right, well, Jai Baba. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Jai Baba.
Have a nice day.
Hi, Irma. We see you now.